On this episode of 5 Minutes of Cloud, we're going to talk about security, cloud style. So you've just decided to actually start securing your cloud, or rather decided to put something in the cloud and you started to think about the security implications of this. Well, good for you. This is a really important topic, and most people forget to even consider what this really means. I think the top topic in the cloud security space is this question of data sovereignty. Really, where is your data being stored? And in many cases, unfortunately, in the U.S., we have this law called the Patriot Act that really gives broad-reaching powers to the government. Maybe for good or bad reasons. I'm not here to debate that topic, but those laws are such that if you're a foreign entity and you place your data into the U.S. and store it in the U.S. government has access to that data. Good or bad, I'm not talking about that, but it's just something to be aware of. And often people are now looking to make sure that when their data gets placed somewhere, it isn't being automatically replicated somewhere else, or at least replicated into a community where their data may not be as protected as they expected it to be. So it's just something to be aware of when you're thinking about using cloud services. Where is this data going? How is it going to be managed? That's a real important component. Another one is vendor longevity. You're going to be placing likely systems data, potentially important business management data, into an environment where the vendor is no longer you. You don't have an access, or you don't have that full service, that technology in your own data center under your own management. Now, this can be very powerful. There's a lot of value in doing this because you get scale and you get other backup resources and things of that nature that you might not be able to do yourself. But you also have to look at the vendor from the perspective of your data longevity in that cloud space. Are you even going to be able to get it back? There have been cases where a vendor has gone out of business in such a fast and fiery fashion that it was not possible to recover one's data out of that service in a timely fashion. Something to be really aware of. And actually, on a similar light, and not so much from a security perspective, but just a thought about data services, often it is free to upload your data into the cloud, and it costs to pull it back. So just something to be aware of when you're thinking about cloud and cloud vendors and capabilities. Data in flight, data at rest, how are you actually moving this data around is an important topic, and one that should be considered when looking at how a vendor is actually managing your data. Most above board cloud vendors can give you data about what they're doing with your data at rest. Are they actually doing at rest encryption and things of that nature? Is that an additional service that you might have to pay for? That's fine. I mean, it's just something to be aware of. And then there's a question of how important is that data? You might be collecting anonymized user data for analytics to understand how your business is running, and placing that in the cloud. Well, it may not matter if that's encrypted or not. It might be nice to know if somebody's borrowing your data, but at the same time, it's not like you're releasing information beyond just how your business is actually functioning. And lastly, you might want to consider how you actually can implement or consider, or not lastly, but you might want to consider what you can do in terms of a security audit for the vendors that you choose when you deploy into a cloud service, whether that be an infrastructure service or an application itself. How are they managing and manipulating your data? These are all questions that you have to understand to really understand the security implications of your systems environment. Now, that then leads you to, I think, the biggest question of all. Are you building a cloud internally, or are you going to build a private cloud in order to manage your own data and allow you to deal with the security implications of those resources? And that cloud might be enabling the tools that let you address your customers' needs, even if your customers are coming to you over web service interfaces anyway. Or are you going to deploy that service into a public cloud, in which case I think all of the things I've previously mentioned, security audits and data at rest encryption and data sovereignty, all do come into effect as well. So these are all questions that you have to ask, and it might be possible to deploy even SaaS applications into your private cloud if that's the most appropriate way for you to manage and secure your data and services. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you would have to build an equivalent application, but one of the nice things about cloud tools is that potentially it enables dynamic, rapid deployment models and development models that could allow you to build simple versions of cloud-based applications for your own private cloud use. So security is a broad topic, and this was a very short overview of it. But again, ensure that you have some understanding of where your data exists, how it's being protected, how it's being managed, and what the likelihood of your vendors are to exist in the future, so that your data is actually protected from that perspective as well. And from that, you can then make a determination as to whether a private or public based cloud resource is a more appropriate solution for your particular enterprise needs. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. In addition, if you want to stay apprised of the latest ongoing updates in the cloud space, sign up for our Twitter feed and our mailing list. We also update you on upcoming webinars and classes that we provide.